Well, good afternoon, everybody, unless you are seeing this from the West Coast or some other place. I know we are worldwide. Welcome to Man About Town. We are a production of 321 Media and New Shore Radio. That's our name du jour. At any rate, you knew I was going to do that, right? Our producer today is Ben Barber.
I'm going to rename the radio app every week for Rona.
Are you? It won't be Man About Town?
No.
Woman About Town?
Woman About Town.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm going to change the name of the
Old
radio
broad
app.
on the sidewalk. You can have that.
Just try not to get the police called on you this week. That's
Thank
the
you.
only thing that I ask.
Thank you. And if you had watched, if you had been with us last week, you would understand. But what was that show? Was what, Bewitched? And they had that neighbor.
Yes.
Whoa, gosh, what was her name? I can see her. They had two different actresses over the.
Two different actors played the neighbor as well?
Yes.
Not just Darren?
No, there were two different ones. And I can't think of her name. She was the nosy neighbor. Well,
Yeah.
We've got someone on the block who thought my car was slightly blocking a driveway, even though she doesn't drive and there were no cars around. Anyway, it was interesting because she came in the middle of the show. However, you never know what's going to happen here on New Shore Radio with our new name.
Was it Gladys? No.
Yes,
Yeah.
Gladys Kravitz.
Gladys Kravitz.
You're
And yeah,
right.
it was Sandra Gould and Alice Pierce
Yes.
that played it.
Wow.
Very
Well,
interesting.
of course, if you have a computer, you're smart. Well, but you grew up on the other side of the
We
world.
still had Bewitched.
You had Bewitched, did
We
you?
had Bewitched.
With
There
Elizabeth.
was, yes,
With Elizabeth Montgomery.
yes.
And
Loved
two different
Bewitched.
Darrens.
Loved Bewitched. Much preferred, much preferred Dick York over Dick Sargent, though.
Yes.
Oh, I can't remember.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I'll tell the audience because you two don't care. Our guest today is Ruth Terechkova. She is the executive director of the Olean Center, which is a wonderful place where they'd have people with disabilities, but they give them abilities from age 3 all the way up to. But we can sit here and talk about 50s and 60s TV if you'd like. But I'm sure you'd like not because you got so much going on.
We got a great year happening. We got a very
You
good
always
year.
have a great year happening, though.
We do, but this is an extra special year because it's our
And why is it?
60th year. 60 years.
60 years.
Yep.
You
Since
don't
we were
look
in
that old.
Oh, a little bit more, but that's okay. But the 60 years ago was when we were actually incorporated. The idea happened before that, when families got together at a local library and said, we need something other than an institution for our family members who are born with both an intellectual and developmental disability.
Because
And so-
years ago, when children were born like that, they would
It
tell
was-
the parents, go put them away.
Yeah, and
You
there
know,
was-
and forget about them. Don't
And-
even go visit them. Go try and have another baby. What a horrible thing that was.
and the institution, we had a particularly bad institution locally called the LAD Institute.
Oh, I remember that when we first moved here.
yeah.
That was in Coventry or West Greenwich?
I thought it was
or-
Exeter.
Was it
I
Exeter?
haven't actually.
Was it
Yeah.
Exeter?
Yeah,
It was
so-
a terrible place.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, so I actually spoke with, so the Olean family are one of the founding families, and I spoke with Bruce, who is actively involved with us still, and his wife Dolores yesterday. And Dolores actually worked at the LAD Center for a short while when she was a high school student.
There were horror stories that came out of that place.
Yeah, no, it was terrible. And the last person, it really, for me, which feels like recent history, and the last person left there in 1998, which is not that long ago.
No, it really
So-
wasn't.
Yeah.
Our producer is going to his producer's hideaway, right?
Yes.
You're going up in the booth, as they say.
I'm going up in the booth. I'll be back.
All right. Enjoy. Thank
All
you.
right. See you later, sir. Just keep us on the air and keep the cops away.
The Olean Center tonight.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great.
Yeah. So tonight we have our business after hours. Well, not our business after hours, but we're hosting the Ocean Community Chamber of Commerce business after hours from 5 to 7 p.m.
For people who don't know, and I always like to stop and explain things,
Mm.
there are people who are watching this maybe in Ohio, in England.
Mm.
We have them from all over. They may not exactly know what business after hours is from the chamber.
So
And we do this monthly.
yes, we've got a really active chamber in
Oh, do
town,
we
which is
ever.
fabulous. Makes
They all know Lisa if they watch this show,
oh, that's good.
because she's on the fourth Wednesday of every month.
Oh, that's wonderful. So yeah, so Lisa and her team, fabulous team, every month a different business or nonprofit in town hosts every other member or even non-members to come and network and learn about the place where that it's hosting. So this week, tonight from 5 to 7, we'll be hosting, and we have delicious food from Fratrano's, so it's definitely worth coming, and wonderful drinks from Grace Ale Brewing, who are so supportive of the Olean Center and all the
And the
nonprofits.
chamber, they always supply the drinks.
They're amazing. Great people and a great team.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're very lucky. So they support every one of our events that we have. In particular, we have an event there in September 10th, which is Cheers for Charity for the Olean Center.
And they've done that for a number of years
They
now.
have, and it coincides with the National Direct Support Professional Week celebration, which we call the Olean Team Celebration Week. And so it's a really great opportunity for staff to be recognized, for us to be out in a beautiful location, having fun. It's a fundraiser, so very, very reasonable ticket price of $25 for 2 drinks and some nibblies, and a great chance to see the end of the season. So it's really cool. And about a month prior to that, we have our golf tournament, which we actually haven't had for about 10 years. But
that's what you were telling me off the air.
Yeah.
So tell us about the golf tournament. Give us the dates, and I'm sure people can start signing up now.
Oh, absolutely.
For foursomes, and if they don't have a foursome, you can put one together, right?
Absolutely. So it's happening at Richmond Country Club.
Oh, I love that place.
Yeah, it is, and it's such an easy place to.
It's right near
be.
my home. They have good food. It's a gorgeous course.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, and it's also a very easy course to have a tournament at, is what I've heard. So it's August 2nd. It's a Sunday, which means that nobody will have to disturb their work to be able to come. It's going to be in the afternoon, probably a shotgun start at 1 p.m.
I'm amazed they're letting you do it on a Sunday. That's usually when they have a lot of golfers.
Yeah, so we're lucky because
wonderful.
They're such a good organization.
Oh,
so,
they are.
Yeah, so we have we have a couple of people that have been sponsors for us. Professional Planning Group, which always are amazing people, not just to the Olean Center, but to the whole community.
Mal Macon, a shout out to him and his entire group.
Yeah, they're awesome. And so Mal and Bruce at Subaru, Valenti Subaru.
Who is, they are our presenting sponsor. And I should have mentioned that earlier, but they sponsor this program.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And we'll be talking about them at the break. Well, definitely, because Bruce has some cars he wants to move.
And we've been very fortunate at the Olean Center. We've raised some significant funds this year because our vehicles, which we use every day, because the work we do is we work one-on-one or in a very small group with individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, helping them to live the life they want. And that's not within 4 walls. That's not at an institution. That's not in a center. That's out and about in the community.
Sure.
And so we need vehicles. We need
you meet them where they are, and you help them get jobs. If they want to go to work, you help them. You help train them. You ask them what they want to do, and you get them there.
We do with the support of an inclusive community and inclusive businesses. We also support a couple of people that run their own businesses. So if you come to Business After Hours tonight, you'll meet one of those guys who is pretty spectacular and somebody we are very happy to support as he has launched his business in the last 18 months.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so it's the Ligori Office Works, and he helps doing shredding and filing and all sort of the behind the scenes, putting packages of information together, all that behind the scenes work that can be time consuming,
Sure.
and he does that sort of work. So
And right here in Westerly?
yep, he sure does.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So Kevin is the owner of that business,
Ah.
and the Olean Center has supported Kevin for decades.
And I know, we talked earlier about Gray Sail Brewery. They have had people from the
Yes.
Olean Center there.
Yes, yep, building boxes and helping to move things, and yeah, they're a very supportive organization. And when you're a business that actually hires somebody with an intellectual and developmental disabilities, there's all these tax breaks. There's lots of, apart from you're getting somebody who's dedicated and also has a support team behind them, you're also getting tax breaks and so many other benefits from hiring somebody with a disability.
Great.
Yeah. No, it's a win-win situation. That's
It
for
is.
sure.
And you know something, I've heard this from many business owners who have hired people with disabilities. They're on time or
Mhm.
early.
Mhm.
They're dependable.
Mhm.
They don't steal money.
Mhm.
A lot of things that you don't always
Mhm.
get from your employees, that
And
they are reliable people and
Yeah.
you can count on them.
and they also have a support team behind them. So we do coaching when somebody first gets into a position, and that could be something for a few weeks if that's all they need, or it could be something that lasts a year or longer if the person needs it. We do retention, so we check in with the employer and with the individual. If there's any sticking points, we go back in and we help, and so they really have a team behind them so that they are successful.
That's excellent. So the golf tournament, you said, is August 2nd?
August 2nd, it's a Sunday, and we've also got the Elms have also sponsored us, which is great.
Oh,
And DePete Construction has also sponsored us. Big thank you to them. So we've got a few people
so if
behind
people
us.
want to sign up now, do they go onto your website? Do they call Richmond? Do they go
They
in
can call
person?
us, or they can send. Right now, we haven't got the form up. We've been
Oh.
focused on the business after hours
Sure.
and just making sure that we have the sponsorship levels right and the benefits right. Excuse me, because we haven't done this for a decade. We're redoing everything, so
Mhm.
we're wanting to make sure before we make it public that we have it right. So they can go to our website, and they could email events, EVENTS, at Olean Center, OLEAN Center.org, or they can ring us at 401-596-2091.
Now you said that like the British are, aren't you supposed to say they can ring us on the blower? Isn't that the correct
You
thing?
you could. I've learned not to say some of those things because some of them don't translate well.
But they are charming. They are.
So yeah, so it's 596-2091, extension 129 is Lori, or 101 is Celeste, or 108, I believe I am. So they can call any of us.
So you don't even know your own. You
No,
say, I
because
believe I am.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm 108. I'd
That's
have to look
great.
at my business card, but yeah, it's then the numbers go straight through to my cell phone. So
Do you have a limit as to you can only take so many golfers?
I
Or
believe
so many
it's a
foursomes?
lot. It's 144, so
Oh.
it's quite a lot. And I think we've only got, because it hasn't become public yet. We are going out and starting to get sponsorships, but this is really the kickoff. And we have a great team of volunteers behind us.
I think most people who enjoy golf will know the Richmond Country Club and
And
will
like
have
it.
played it because
Yeah.
it is a beautiful place.
And they do a lot of nonprofit support, which is great.
I know that. I know the Charahoe Rotary always has their golf tournament there.
And Lions Club,
Lions does too.
Westerly Lions does.
Good.
I believe that Maddie, the young girl who passed away.
From Charahoe High
yes,
School.
Yes, the
Yes.
Maddie.
That's awful.
We're
The
going to have to
soccer-
find
the soccer player.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
We'll find that number, but they also do their tournament there, I believe. So they're a great organization.
Yeah,
So
they are.
very lucky.
Good group of people, and their
Mm.
food is wonderful.
Yeah,
the
and
food's
but,
excellent.
it's an example of the places around here. We have a really supportive, really
Maddie
inclusive.
Potts.
Thank you. That's it.
I was
Thanks,
thinking
very
about
good.
that.
Yeah, so we have a very inclusive, very supportive community,
Mhm.
and we really are fortunate. I've lived in quite a few places, And I really think there's nothing like this community, this region. It is.
Do you
it's
know how many
extraordinary.
people who have sat in that chair from every kind of business
Mhm.
and nonprofit
Mhm.
and have said the same thing about the Westerly area, the greater Westerly area?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, I
If
think
there
it's-
is a need, people step up.
It's true. And I think it's really all of South County. I really
Yes.
do think Westerly is extraordinary, of course, but I really do believe it's all the way the nonprofits work together,
Yes.
the way the for-profits support the nonprofits, the amount of people that are involved in volunteer work in this community. It's phenomenal.
It is.
And if you're
Yeah.
interested in volunteer work, we are looking for volunteers to work with us in our main reception area, a couple of hours in the morning or a couple of hours in the afternoon, once a week or once every couple of weeks. Great opportunity.
And what would they have to do? Answer the phone, press the buzzer when somebody wants to get in from outside?
Exactly. And they don't even have to answer the phone. It's really managing the door. And then we always have lots and lots of administrative tasks. Like
Lick envelopes.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff envelopes or volunteers. Lori today and Sharon yesterday, they were putting together our little gift for today's Business After Hours, which is a beautiful card that is artwork from our participants, and
Nice.
so a little seed packet and a little thank you card. So they were putting that together for us. That's the sort of thing that I would be doing on a Saturday or a Sunday, but I'm very fortunate we have this nice group of volunteers
That's
dedicated.
wonderful.
Yeah, they're great, and we're looking for more. And it's if you want to come with a friend, so it's a social event, and you're there and you're
I've
managing
heard
the
you
door.
say that before. It's a really good idea.
Yeah,
You get a couple of people, maybe they drop their kids off at school and they don't have to pick them up until lunchtime or after
yes,
if they're not taking a bus, and
yeah,
they
and
could just go there.
it's something meaningful that they're doing. They're giving back to the community.
If you don't know where the Olean Center is, shame on you. It's right on Airport Road. It's just beyond Rotary Park and the tennis courts and Stop and Shop and all those businesses up on the hill, the 99 restaurant, the police station across the street. So I'm sure you know where it is. Even if you don't know, you know now, because
Yeah.
that's a busy road.
Yeah, and it is called Brutalist Architecture, and that's a great name for the kind of architecture. It's a big gray block building.
Brutalist architecture?
Yeah, that's the name of that style. Those big jagged rocks that make up the front of the building. So I always say it's sharp and hard on the outside and beautiful and warm and caring on the inside.
And it is.
It is.
You have lots and lots of good things. You
We
really
do. We have a staff of 80 that I'm incredibly proud
That
of.
always amazes me,
Yeah.
that you can support a staff of 80.
Yeah. Well, there's a big need. There's a huge need, an unmet need. So we, of course, there are people who get services which we call self-directed, and that's great for some families where they direct their own services and hire their own staff. But there's a lot of families where that's just not a possibility, and that's where the Olean Center comes in.
And
we
is
hire and train.
is there a charge for people to use it?
No. So there's a charge. We do get paid, but it's not by the family.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. So an individual who's born with a disability is given supports through one state department until they're about 22, and then BHDDH, Department of Behavioral Health, Developmental Disabilities and Hospitals, supports them from 18 or 22.
And that's state-run, correct?
That's state-run, but it is funded through both state funding and federal funding. So it's a combination of funding. And then an individual's severity of challenges is identified through a very big process. And then they're given an allocation of money that the state holds. And then we bill against that bucket of money. So,
but all you have to know, if you have a situation and you want to find out more, you can call, make an appointment, and know that this is not something you have to pay for, or your family has to pay for.
It comes out of funding.
I said this at the very beginning, and we were kidding around a lot, and I want to make sure people understand. ages 3 and
all
up.
the way through life. Yep.
I mean, you have them up in 80 years old even?
Exactly. We have some 7-year-olds who are working, who would love it and just are enjoying themselves way past 70.
Isn't
So,
that great?
yeah, we have one, I will call her a young lady because she's young at heart, and she is in one job and is looking for a second. And it's wonderful. Our vocational team is very active. Our community supports team is very active. Our children's program is
Does your
phenomenal.
vocational team go out into the community and ask businesses, do you
Yes.
need anyone? Will you take someone?
Yeah, here's the sort of work that we do. Here's the supports that we can provide you. We have some great, what I call rack cards. They're like,
Yeah, I know what the rack cards
yeah,
are.
4
Sure.
by about 9-inch
You
cardboard.
might even have one here.
You probably do. Yes.
Ah,
Yes. So we have those, and we
like this.
Yeah, exactly. So we have those that we leave with different agencies. We're also very happy to sit and talk with anybody who either has a volunteer opportunity, an internship opportunity, and a position that may work. You know, you don't have to say, oh, we've definitely got a position. You can just come and inquire, and we can
Sure.
help figure out if it's the right match.
I can remember I have a friend in Mystic, Connecticut, who has a disability,
Mm-hmm.
and he's now 26. And
Oh, I know your friend.
yes, Wolfman Zach.
Yes, great guy.
And I was at his 26th birthday party 2 months ago,
Yeah.
and his mom said he was always very specific about, because he knows he's different.
Mm.
He doesn't understand all of it, but he knows he's different, and
Mm.
that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, just because I'm different, I don't want to work in a supermarket. I don't want to bag groceries. Now,
Mm.
there are plenty of people with disabilities who would love that job. But
Exactly.
he works at the Granite Theater now.
That's
And
awesome.
he's there on weekends, and he takes tickets, and he helps usher, and he loves it, and he gets to see the shows.
So it's all about what the
What they want.
person wants to do, and we do everything in our power to support them to do what they want to do. Now, sometimes it might take a while for that to happen,
Sure.
but we do everything we can to make it happen.
And you're very successful. I know that. I mean, the one thing about going there, you never see people crying.
No.
You might, but I don't.
No.
I never, and everybody's got a smile, especially in that art room.
Yes.
They're very happy in that art room. And I was going to ask you, the library was here last week, and they were talking about upcoming things, and they were talking about the Garden Market Fair,
Yes.
which is part of Neighbor Day.
Yes.
And then we have Virtue, the art show.
Yes.
Aren't you at one or both of
We'll
them?
be at both of those as well.
Selling
as,
the wonderful cards with their art on there, because I always buy them.
Oh, they're beautiful. And
The
we
thank you
just got a new
cards.
batch of them. So
Oh, great.
Yep. And we'll be at Virtue. We are at the Hoxie Gallery right now. It's absolutely worth
The Hoxie Gallery is in the library on the second floor.
and worth a trip. Absolutely worth a
Yes,
trip.
because it opened last week, their annual. It is annual.
Correct.
In fact, you almost always do it in April, I
It is.
think.
Yep.
And it's up for the entire month. It is artwork done by the clients. Am I using the right word?
We say individuals,
By the by
clients
the
is fine.
individuals at the Olean Center
Yeah.
of all ages. And believe me, I couldn't do most of what I see there.
Oh, some of
great
it's
work.
really spectacular, and it just does bring a lot of joy, which is great. And we do art programs out in the community. We're always looking for community spaces where we can do and hold our art programs so that other members of the community can join us. We want unified art. We don't want to be segregated. We want unified art opportunities.
You know something, I want to talk about that when we come back from our
Mhm.
break. You are listening to Man About Town, now part of New Shore Radio, always part of 321 Media. And I do want to mention that our presenting sponsor of Man About Town is the aforementioned Bruce Morrow and Valenti Subaru at Dunn's Corners. And I want to let you know that they have new, used, and brand new 2025s still on the lot, and they're making great deals. They have Foresters. Just 2 weeks ago, there were 54 of them. There aren't 54 now. I'm going to find out from Bruce this afternoon when I see him at Business After Hours. But that's a very popular car. And the Ascents, the Outbacks, Imprezas, Legacies, hybrids, very, very popular. Pre-owned as well, and guaranteed there's a pre-owned clearance going on. So if you're even thinking about a car, at least go over and meet them. They are not high pressure people. They're good people. They are our neighbors, our friends, and they are sponsors of Man About Town. We are going to turn this over to producer Ben Barber right now, who's going to show you some other local people worth a second look. We'll be right back.
Wood River Health provides medical, dental, and behavioral health care to over 10,000 people a year, even when they can't afford to pay for the care they need. The cost of providing healthcare services has increased, and the grant funding we receive doesn't fully cover the cost of patient care. We, like other community health centers across the country, count on community support to keep our doors open. With your help, we can keep serving as a safety net for your neighbors. Will you help us invest in our mission?
At Dime Bank, we're all about community. It's who we are. Local communities made up of customers, families, and friends. Business owners invested in helping their communities thrive. Dedicated employees committed to giving back in ways that go beyond banking. If your banking relationship leaves you wanting more, come join our community. It's your bank, your choice, your dime.
The largest reason we opened up Seaside Pharmacy was to help our community better than the big box stores. We get to know you better, fast and friendly service. So we'd love to have you come in and check out Seaside Pharmacy and see what we have to offer.
If you want a sweet treat or a bite to eat, if you're shopping for the week or a great piece of meat, there's only one place to go. Meet me at Dunn's Corners Market. Meet me at Dunn's Corners Market. If you're here for the weekend or you're here for a lifetime, meet me at Dunn's Corners Market.
Hi, this is Dan from Lathrop Insurance. Rhode Island is full of incredible businesses. Family-run shops, growing startups, and companies that shape our community. At Lathrop Insurance, we help business owners protect what they've built with insurance programs crafted around their industry, risks, and goals. Your business deserves more than one-size-fits-all coverage. Lathrop Insurance, solutions-driven protection for businesses that drive Rhode Island.
Lickety splits where the summer sticks.
Two scoops high and a waffle twist.
We're living it up at Lickety Splits. Lickety Splits, take your flavor pick. Rainbow swirl or classic mix.
Big wide smiles and a sugar blitz.
Yeah, everyday sweet at Lickety Splits. Hey!
She's there, she's everywhere, she's everywhere. She's a man about town and she knows what's going down.
We're everywhere. We are Man About Town, a production of New Shore Radio, which is a production of 321 Radio Media, which is a production of whatever's in Ben Barber's mind this week. Anyway, those are our names, but we're happy to have you. As long as you got here, you got to the right place. And we are with Ruth Terechkova, she being the executive director of the Olean Center. And we were talking about going out to businesses, right? Was that it before the break?
Yeah. So our employment specialists, we have 3 on our team. So we have a director and then we have 2 employment specialists. They go out into the community and they help local businesses understand the opportunities that are available to them when they hire somebody.
And when they hire these people, they pay them, right? They have to pay them.
Yeah, but there's a lot of tax credits. There's a lot of benefits from hiring somebody with a disability.
Oh, I would think so.
Yeah, and a lot of support behind the scenes, which is really good. Yeah.
So once someone is hired at a particular business, your people then go back and check on them.
They train them in place. They coach them for however long it takes for that person to become really comfortable in the work that they're doing.
So they're working with the
And then through-
employer. What do you expect of this?
Yes,
of this
exactly.
person?
And then if the person needs a tool to help them do something, a prompt to help them to remember to do something, they'll make the tool the prompt so that they can slowly fade the amount of hours that they spend with the person until they're doing the job independently. So it's great. It's great for everybody.
That I would think so. So if you are an employer, you want to find out about this. And the way they should do that is to call you.
Yes, you can call us at 596-2091. Again, 596-2091. Or you can email info@oleancenter.org. That's OLEAN Center, CENTER.org. Or, just...
Or
if you
ask
see me-
anybody in town where they
Yeah,
are.
Exactly. We're at 93 Airport Road, right next to the Rotary Park, the big tennis courts or pickleball courts now. And we are the location where Rotary meets every Monday evening.
Right.
So good community group.
Yes. And right across from the airport.
Yep. And
More
right
or
across
less.
from the
airport, the post office.
Exactly. It's a
Yeah.
really good spot.
It's a wonderful spot and lots of parking.
Yes.
It's a
exactly.
good sized parking lot. It's free parking. We're very blessed in this area to have free parking in so many places,
We are. Yeah.
which is absolutely wonderful. So I'm going to ask you, unless you have something new to talk about, but we can do both. We have plenty of time. I'm going to ask you to go back over some of the things you mentioned in the first half hour, because we may have people who are just joining us, and we don't want them to not know about this.
Well, we have lots of exciting events because we are 60 this year. So lots of things.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
60 years
Isn't it?
old. And I'm sure there have been trying times too. There
yeah.
certainly was during COVID.
Yes.
It was for
absolutely.
everyone,
Yes.
but you got through it and your people are all the better for it.
Yeah. I mean, everything that is difficult makes you stronger, right? So
That's right.
It's a path, it's a journey. But yet we have lots of events this year. This afternoon, from 5 to 7, we have the Ocean Community Chamber of Commerce we're hosting their business after hours.
And
which will
that's
be
open to
lovely.
the public, by the way.
It is.
They have a very small admission fee for chamber members. And if you're not a chamber member, I think it's $10 to get in.
I believe so.
And they'll have a meal, won't they?
Yeah, there's lots of nibblies. It's not a full-on meal, but there's lots of nibblies, as well as Grey Sail Brewing has some beers and
wine usually.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we've got some yummy things there.
And you get to meet people in the community and people from the
Exactly.
Olean Center.
Exactly.
Your
It's a great
staff
way.
will be there.
And many people have driven by the Olean Center a million times on the way to the beach, but never been inside. Great opportunity to come inside. It is a networking opportunity for people in business. So, it's not really fully open to the public. It is a business networking opportunity.
But they could stop by today if they're a business and
Yes.
they're interested in having employees.
Yes.
And they could talk to Lori or Celeste or you'll be busy running around.
Exactly. And they can
And-
also talk to the chamber members about all the benefits that the
Yes.
chambers provides.
And there are
It's-
wonderful benefits at the chamber for very little money,
yeah, no,
because
it's
they are
great.
the most active chamber that I've seen, and they want to make their members successful all the time. They're always looking for ways to do it.
They work very, very hard. That's true.
They
And they're
do.
very, very good at what they do, which is wonderful.
Yes, that they sure are.
And then we have August 2nd, we have our golf tournament, which we haven't had for a decade, which is going to be at Richmond Country Club. And it's going to be a wonderful Sunday, August 2nd. So it's going to be a wonderful event. And then we have...
I know let me just interrupt
Yeah.
for a minute. And
Sure.
if it's, I know you said you don't have all the details to put out
Mm,
yet.
mm.
Do you have a price and what it includes? I know
So
it's
we
1 o'clock shotgun, right?
Yes, and we have $150 per player, 600 for a foursome.
That is so reasonable.
It really is. And then we have different sponsorship levels because we're 60 years old. We've got lots of sixes in these numbers. So we've got closest to the pin for 600, or beverage cart sponsor for 1,060, or golf cart sponsor for 1,600, or 60th anniversary lunch sponsor for 2,600. So lots of everything from 6,600 title sponsor all the way down to $125 for a tea sponsor. So it's
Which
a great
is
way
so
of
reasonable.
It is, and it's going to be a beautiful day, great weather, and lots of really good people.
Meteorologist Ruth Terechkova.
Hey, I'm going to be down on my knees for weeks prior,
Are you
praying
praying?
for good weather. So
Of course.
yes, so I think we'll be okay. But yeah, so we also professional
And-
planning's already signed on, as well as Valenti Subaru, which is fabulous.
You are giving them lunch on the course or
exactly, and there'll
sandwiches
be a
or,
dinner. We'll have
and a dinner.
yes, yep. There'll be little surprises along the course as well, as if we can get it organized, which I'm sure we will. So lots of fun. It'll be a fun event.
You always have people who come together and help.
Oh, we
which
have an
is-
amazing group of volunteers.
You do.
Yeah, a huge thank you to
I mean,
all of the people
the event you had a month ago
at Sugar
with Sugar,
at the United.
you had, it looked like out in the lobby for a while there, you were having more volunteers than you were having
I
people.
think we had 25 volunteers who helped us make that happen.
Wow.
Yeah, and we needed every single one of them. It was great. It was really great. And we have volunteers at the Olean Center right now setting up for business after hours. We have volunteers who help us with our sensory garden. We have volunteers who help us with the gardens at the front. We have
I know you've got like Charahoe Rotary will come in and paint.
yes,
Westerly Rotary has done that.
we've had
Gardening.
Shoreline Painting has offered to come in with their team and paint for free, paint a room for free. And it's those things that make a big difference for us. Changing the drab walls into something bright and new and clean. It does make a difference because we do activities in that big space. So, having it look good is great.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
And it seems to me every time you ask, a
We
hand
do.
is put out.
Yeah. That's this community.
But I've
phenomenal.
heard from people, this is a lot like, and there are other organizations that go through the same thing. You'll get someone who will say, well, I was born in Westerly. I went to school here. I grew up here. I've driven by the Olean Center so many times. I have no idea what they do.
Come and knock
It's
on the
kind of
door.
like the people in Manhattan who've never been to the Empire State Building or the
yes.
Statue of Liberty.
Yes.
And it's good that you're
We're
out
just
there.
as impressive as both of those places.
Of course you are.
No, but we would love you. If you don't know what we're about, you can go to our website, which is very easy to remember, www.oleancenter.org. You can go there. That gives you a lot of good information.
And you spell center like an American, not
I
like a
do.
Brit. It's not CENTRE or any of that.
Although we do have that in town with the United. They do the RE. So,
No,
there's both.
they do that on theater.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. Well,
It's
similar.
not the same thing.
Not quite the same. But yeah, no, we're very, very fortunate to have a lot of volunteers that help us at lots of events. Cheers for Charity, which is going to be a big event for us on September 10th.
Yeah, let's talk about that because that's one of my absolute favorites.
Mine too.
Even though I am not a beer drinker at all.
You don't need to be.
No, I absolutely love what Grace Sale does. Well, they
Yeah.
do so much for the community, but
It's a
tell
beautiful
the
space.
people who came in late.
So it's a beautiful space. It's at the back of the brewery. It's a big open area, lots of picnic tables. There's cornhole. It's just a great social
And it's
event.
even covered. There's a section
Yeah,
that's
it's
covered,
covered.
so you get a few raindrops. You can
Oh,
be
and we
under.
have tents and stuff like that we can put up if the weather is ever not good, but it's always been great for us so far. Touch wood. It'll continue to be good.
It was beautiful last year.
And it's the right time
Last
of the
fall.
year. Halfway through September. it's a real celebration for us because it's recognition for Direct Support Professional Week. And that's when people who work one-on-one with individuals or in small groups or in group homes with individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, the frontline workers, it's a celebration of that position. But at the Olin Center, we make it a celebration of the whole team because it's not just the direct support professionals. Of course, they're crucial, but it's the coordinators, their supervisors, it's the directors, it's the team that do our fundraising and our events. Everybody comes together to make it a success.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
And it's such a great event. It's $25.
Yes.
And that gets you 2 beverages, and that can be
some-
beer or wine or soft drinks.
Yes, and I believe there's also
Nibblies.
Yes.
Great nibble. You always have
from-
great potato chips. That's my favorite.
Yeah, so it's a wonderful event. It's not overly expensive, and it is a great way to get together and have fun at the end of the season.
Right. And you will meet a lot of people from the Olin Center.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of the name of the gal that you had the movie for.
Jessie.
She was there with her, was it her pot holders?
So she's
I
one of our
thought so.
entrepreneurs. So she sells her pot holders. They're beautiful. I have several, and every time I need to send something overseas to family or friends, there are pot holders all over this world that are Jessie's pot holders. So
She must be so happy to know
yeah,
that.
she's very talented. They're beautiful, and I'm not sure if she's still doing special orders.
Now
but
she paints on them, or
no,
does-
she pulls them together with fabric. And
I
she's
see.
also learning to sew. That's what one of her direct
Really?
support professionals was helping her do. So she's making bags and pillowcases and lots of creative things.
Good for her. Now she's what, in her 20s?
She would be thrilled to hear that she's in her 20s. No, I think she's in her 40s.
That's right.
Yeah.
And she has a job downtown.
She does. She works at Bella Vita
At
Salon,
Bella
which is
Vita?
a great team.
Yes.
Incredibly supportive and of the community. Again,
My friend who's a nail tech there loves her. She says she is one of the most popular people, that their clients come in all the time and they'll
Yeah.
ask, "Where's Jessie?"
Yeah. So she's a great young lady. She's a great young lady. She's
And when you meet someone like Jessie or like Kevin or like just about anybody there, when you think about what we began this with, talking about the old Lad Center, which I don't even want to think about, that those people could have been put away
decades
and
ago.
actually had their lives shortened, and
Significantly.
whatever life they had would have been miserable, and they have a life.
So I just heard of the passing of a woman in her 90s with an intellectual and developmental disabilities. And she's had a fabulous, fabulous life. It used to be thought that people would have a much shorter life, and sometimes that's the case. But also with the care and support and the opportunity to be a valued member of your community where you live and work, it changes lives, it improves lives, and it extends lives.
Yeah.
So in
It
quality.
definitely extends life, because years ago, people that were born with those disabilities, a lot of times they'd say, he or she won't get beyond age 5, or sometimes maybe age 20. But now they live full lives.
Yeah, so we just had somebody pass not so long ago who was supposedly wouldn't live beyond 5 and made it to 55. So,
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And
That's very cool,
Yeah.
because they didn't just exist for 50 more years.
Yeah.
They had a life.
a
And
full
that's what
and
you give.
purposeful
You
life.
build lives for these people.
And for their families, because there's a ripple effect. Like
Oh, of
when a
course.
business person hires somebody with an intellectual and developmental disability, they're also putting income back into that family, right? Or, sometimes it doesn't go into the family, that person, but the fact that they have money to pay for their own things means that it helps that family, right? So there's
One
so
of
many
the
ways.
things that has always bothered me about people with disabilities of any kind,
Mhm.
and I saw it happen years ago with a friend in upstate New York. He was an advertising man and had a great career, and he got cancer. And he was getting progressively worse and wound up in a wheelchair. And we took him two of us took him to an event that was being held. His mind was fine. He just had pretty much lost his mobility. And every time I think of this, it gets me so angry. But I have a question in it for you. We went to this, the event was being held at the Civic Center, so it was a big deal. And there was food and there were bartenders, and we rolled up to the bar and I ordered what I wanted and my husband ordered what he wanted. And then the bartender leaned over and said, "What does he want?" You know, in a louder voice, but he was talking to us. And the guy's name was Bill, who has since passed. And Bill said, "I can speak for myself, and I think I'd like to leave."
Oh, wow.
And we left
Yeah.
because he was so embarrassed. But I often wonder, does that kind of thing happen with some of your people, where maybe they're out for dinner and they're like Jessie, 40 some years old, and they don't ask her, they ask maybe her parents or her guardians, "What does she want?" Which
does,
is so demeaning.
well, it does happen sometimes, but I don't think people are purposefully being demeaning. I think there's an education opportunity there for Jessie to speak up, or for Bill to speak up and say, "Hey, you know, I can speak for myself." And just that education for that individual, maybe next time they won't do it. Because I feel like we all muck up in life. We all do things
and we say things we don't mean.
Yes, and we
don't mean to hurt people.
Yeah, exactly. So if we can all give each other an opportunity to learn and do it differently, I'm a huge proponent of what I say going forward. So if this has happened, but going forward, let's do this instead. You know, take it as an opportunity, because life isn't a destination. It's not a point. It's not a thing. It's a path, right? We're all on these paths. And so if we can be kind and gentle with each other and understand that the vast majority of time people are not trying to be mean. They're trying to maybe include by what would this person like. They don't know if this person's verbal or nonverbal. You know, I think if we can give each other a little grace and
that's why you're the executive director. And that's why the Olean Center is so successful.
Oh, it's not me. It's not me. We've got an amazing team that have been there for a very, very long time.
You know what? It goes from the head down. So you are giving very good culture to the people who work for you and the people who take your services too. It's a collaborative culture.
I'm a part of it. But we have a HR director who's been with us since she was 2, because she's been there 43 years. So we say she has been there for 2. Tina, who's phenomenal, and
I know Tina,
right, and has helped build that culture. We're very selective about who we hire at the Olean Center, even though we have 80 employees. We're very selective about who we hire. We're very purposeful in how we train people. This amount of support they get. And I do interviews with all of our new employees within the first 3 months, first month or 3 months, always trying to improve what we're doing so that, you know, it's a process, right?
Sure it is.
And all of them always talk about how supported they feel by their supervisors, how supported they feel by their colleagues. So whether they've been a direct support professional for 30 years or for 3 months, everybody contributes, everybody supports each other. It's a very, very cool environment that way. And not everybody makes it. But some people, take themselves out of the position because it's not the position
for them.
Yeah. And
you have to have, I think, a certain sensibility or a willingness to be trained to have that sensibility.
Yeah, you have.
And if you're short-tempered or impatient or have preconceived notions about the people, it isn't going to work.
Yeah, it's a place where really its attitude makes all the difference. And our staff have amazing attitudes. So that's really what it's about. It's also really important that our staff have input. What they say makes a difference. It gets implemented. Sometimes it takes us a couple of years to implement something if it's an expense that we don't have and we have to write grants for. But one of the big things is everybody is on the front line. They know things a lot more than anybody else. So, a suggestion from a supervisor or a direct support professional is taken very seriously. And so we have a small enough group that we can implement things that are offered.
Are there other, I don't know what to call you. I don't want to
We're
say
developmental-
agency.
We are.
I was going to say, are there other organizations like the O'Lean
Yes.
Center in Rhode Island?
There are about 30 of us.
There's that
all over,
many?
all over the state. Because
I bet they're not as good as you guys.
Oh, no, actually, that's one of the things that I love about this field. We have a great trade group called the Community Providers Network of Rhode Island. And all of the nonprofits and for-profits that are in this field, not all of them, but the vast majority of them are members of this group. And I was in a meeting this morning with the children's providers. And one thing I said was how extraordinary this group is, because it's a safe environment for us all to learn. It's a safe environment for us all to share information. And nobody's ever felt made to feel foolish if they've got a question.
And that word safe means so much now.
Oh, it's
more
really
than
important.
It ever has,
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, it's really important. And the individuals that we work for, the people with intellectual and developmental disabilities and their families, they really are front and center. They're in the center for all of these organizations. So if your organization can better serve this family, then that's the organization that should serve this family. It's really, I've worked in many fields in education and healthcare, and I've never seen anything like the developmental disability field. It is really collaborative.
I'm going to have to hold you there. And thank you again, Ruth, and let you get over there and get
Thank
all
you.
the goodies out.
Yes.
Please make sure to take your microphone out.
I will.
Off. And we have two gentlemen coming in. We are going to honor the Purple Heart today, and we're going to talk about supporting the Purple Heart Monument, which will be a brand new monument at the Rhode Island Veterans Cemetery. We will be taking a break so that she can take her mic off. They can put their mics on. She can take all this stuff that comes with her. And we ask you to listen to these commercials. Ben, you might have to play an extra one or two till we get everybody situated, but we'll figure it out. This is Man About Town. We are a production of 321 Media and New Shore Radio. We will be back with you and honoring the Purple Heart very shortly.
Are you looking for a fresh cut in Westerly? Step into Rio's Barber Shop in Granite Plaza. Whether it's a classic trim or a trendy new look, we've got you covered. Experience the perfect cut for every age and style in a friendly and relaxed atmosphere. At Rio's, it's not just a haircut, it's an experience. Visit Rio's Barber Shop in the Granite Plaza in Westerly or give us a call to schedule your appointment at 401-315-2208. Your style, our craft, Rio's Barber Shop.
Hi, I'm Chris Kozłowski, owner of Broadview Florist and Garden Center in Dunn's Corners. For over 40 years, our family-owned business has been your go-to destination for beautiful, custom-made floral arrangements. Whether it's a special event or just to brighten up your day, we create highest quality designs tailored just for you. Trust Broadview Florists to make every moment unforgettable. Visit us today or give us a call at 401-322-0390.
Experience local excellence with Roof Right Roofing in Charlestown, Rhode Island. With over 40 years of unmatched expertise, Roof Right specializes in architectural shingles and holds the prestigious title of GAF Master Elite Installers. Known for their commitment to the community and support for local initiatives, Roof Right is your trusted partner for all of your home's roofing needs. Call today for a free estimate at 401-212-4140.
My name is Robert Toth. I'm the owner of Old Mountain Lanes. We opened way back in 1960. We have 24 lanes of bowling. We are a full-fledged family facility. League bowling. We have cosmic bowling. We have music and entertainment. Food is a big thing here too. We have two great restaurants. We're Old Mountain Lanes, 756 Kingstown Road in Wakefield. We're open 7 days a week. Come on down and see us.
I'm Josh Sherman, owner of Breachway Building Company. We specialize in kitchens, bathrooms, interior renovations of all kinds. Please feel free to give me a call to help you out with your next project. Breachway Building Company. We are building your dreams one wall at a time.
You may not be able to tell from the outside, but cars are more complicated than ever on the inside. That's why you need to take your car to a place where the technicians really know what they're doing. Our experts have been repairing cars for almost 60 years. From simple brake jobs to complex transmissions. There's nothing the experts at AMCO haven't seen or fixed. That's why we know cars inside and out. AA MCO.
She's everywhere. She's everywhere. She's a man about town and she knows what's going down.
We are back.
Oops.
And if you are not a veteran, it doesn't matter one bit, because I'm going to introduce you to two individuals who one's a veteran, one isn't, and it doesn't matter because they're dedicated to exactly the same cause. I will introduce you first to Second Lieutenant Ron Barnes over there, who is from Johnston. I don't know why I'm thinking Coventry, but he is from Johnston. This is the challenge coin he gave me when we met years and years ago, like last week.
Right.
We met in Coventry.
Right.
And I also have Bert. Do I pronounce your last name Guarnieri?
Guarnieri.
Guarnieri.
Yeah,
that
good.
Wasn't too bad.
No, very good. Thank you.
And he is a Purple Heart veteran from North Providence. And we're going to find out all about, I know Ben's got this, but I'm going to hold it up anyway. We're going to find out about what's going to be going on at the Veterans Cemetery in Exeter. This is not just an event. This is permanent. So why don't we begin with you, Ron, and you can tell everybody what this entire effort is about.
Sure. So I currently serve on the Rhode Island 250 Commission. And the Veterans Cemetery...
250th birthday of our country.
Yes, the Rhode Island 250 Commission. The Veterans Cemetery here in Rhode Island, as you see it today, was a product of the RI 76 Bicentennial Commission. So that was a legacy project. So the RI 250 Commission this year for this go around is not doing a legacy project. So Bert being a Purple Heart recipient, and my father was a Purple Heart recipient, and that's our tie-in here. Bert had mentioned that there was one group that he knew didn't have a monument in the Veterans Cemetery that should have one, and it was the Military Order of the Purple Heart.
Which is amazing, because I have been in that cemetery so many times, and there's monuments, it appears, for everything.
Right.
It never dawned on me that there wasn't one for the Purple Heart.
Yep. So Bert's a go-getter about logistics. I'm pretty decent at fundraising.
Yeah,
so
you are.
We have a member of the, I'm also an associate member because my father was a Purple Heart recipient. So I'm a member, we're both members of the military order, but this is a project sponsored by the Military Order of Foreign Wars.
Let's explain for people who don't know, because sometimes we all assume, and this program is being seen worldwide. This is the Purple Heart, which was first issued by George Washington way, way back. But a lot of people don't know, what do you get the Purple Heart for?
So I'm going to cover the George Washington part, and Bert will cover the modern day. How's that work?
Fine, I love it.
So what ties this project in for the 250th of our country is George Washington created a badge called the Badge of Military Merit in 1782. I think it was given to 3 or 4 Revolutionary War soldiers.
And it was given to them why? Was it given to them because of combat wounded or merit?
It was more for merit in that they went above and beyond. But the Badge of Military Merit is widely considered to be the first American military decoration. And it is the precursor to the Purple Heart. The Purple Heart grew out of George Washington's Badge of Military Merit. So you can speak about modern day.
Well, I don't know the exact date that they transformed into the Purple Heart. But when they did, it was meant for individuals who were in combat and were either wounded or killed. So you could lose an arm or be bloodied up, shot or whatever, and that would require you getting a Purple Heart. Or if you were killed, your family would get the Purple Heart in the person's name. They got it. It usually transforms around combat because people could get wounded on a base, I guess, and fall over a bucket of food or something and bleed. I don't know if they actually will get a Purple Heart then, but if you're on
do they
active
get
duty,
a Purple Heart for friendly fire? Deaths by friendly fire? I was wondering that the other day. It would still be death in military service.
Yeah, I believe so because
horrible thing.
Yeah, I mean, guys have been in combat, and then some artillery shell will come in and kill them, and it was ours.
Yeah,
or
and
wounded
didn't
by
realize.
that.
Yeah,
and they would get a Purple Heart for that, as far as I know. I'm pretty sure they would.
So I will ask you how you got yours.
Well, in 1968, I was in Vietnam. I was in a outfit called the 1st Cavalry Division. They've been around since Custer days, and in fact, the 1st Cavalry Division is the division. There's outlying units in there, and there was 5th Cavalry, 7th Cavalry, 8th Cavalry. I was in the 7th Cavalry. And when I got to Vietnam, they told me I was in the 7th Cavalry. I said, that was Custer's old outfit.
Yeah.
What luck do I have? Being there.
You're here.
But we were, I think it was about April of 1968, we were in what they call Ashore Valley, which was a big place that we were trying to eliminate the enemy. They were coming through that way, coming down south in South Vietnam. And one day I got into a firefight on a very steep ridge, and we were on the point of it going up. And a few people in front of us got ambushed, and that started a firefight. And so we try to move into position to spread out and get our weapons working. And I was a machine gunner at the time. And then somebody yelled, "Grenade, grenade." And my assistant gunner pushed me down. And next thing I know, this grenade went off a couple of feet behind me.
Oof.
It killed the man behind me, it blew his guts out, and 4 other individuals were slightly or semi-slightly wounded from that same grenade, and that's what happened to me. I got some shrapnel up my hand and my arm.
If you had not been pushed down, you wouldn't be here.
No, maybe not. No.
Wow.
But the guy that got killed was with us for about, I'm not lying, about 20 minutes. He had just got off a helicopter. We just met him, and I told him that, just stay by us and hold this ammunition, this machine gun ammunition, because I may need it. And so all the other guys in our squad carried a couple of 100 rounds, and they were for me because I couldn't carry 1,000 rounds of machine gun ammunition. So he was brand new, and he was right behind us, and he caught the brunt of the grenade, and it killed him.
Oh, what a horrible thing then to have to see.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, that affects everyone, not
Yeah.
just the person who's killed.
Yeah.
A lot of
I
stories.
saw a lot of people earn Purple Hearts in my time there in
I
one
bet
year.
you did.
A lot of guys killed and a lot of guys
So
wounded.
now I have to ask, and maybe it's not politically correct to ask, but I ask a lot of non-politically correct questions.
It's okay.
When you came home,
Yeah.
were you told to just shut up, put your uniform away, and go to work? Did you experience any of the horrible things that a lot of the guys did?
Not too much. We were flown in. I got in about midnight in Seattle, Washington, and we got on a bus and we went right to the base. And they were waiting there for us, and they had a steak dinner. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and everybody was coming back, got a nice meal, and then we were given quarters to go rest up. And the next day we had to report in for new uniforms because we came back with jungle fatigues on, and they gave us dress clothing to go home. And I got to the airport, flew back to Rhode Island, and I didn't see too much. I saw more on TV than I did personally.
That's good.
I didn't get a lot of, but then I had to go back, of all places, when my leave was up, I had to go back to Fort Lewis, Washington. So I went from Washington to Rhode Island,
And back to Washington.
back to Washington.
To
And
just
then
for discharge?
I had 6 more months left in the Army to
Oh.
do. So I was
And
assigned.
you couldn't have done it at Devon's or something, or you had to, wow.
So I had to do it in a tank company. And I loved it because I said, where were these things when I was in Vietnam? Boy, I really could have used one,
Exactly. Yeah, that
instead
would
of
have
walking
protected you.
everywhere. So I got used to that, and I liked it. And when it came time to re-up at the end of my tour, I was this close to signing up. And I said, well, can I stay here, or am I going to go to Germany? I know there's a lot of tanks out there. We had guys come from there. They said, oh, no, you'll be going back to Vietnam. And I said,
Bye.
that's
See
a
ya.
good thing.
Well, at least they were honest.
They were, and I got out
Wow.
for a while.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, Ron, so let's have the big pitch. I want you to start telling people what it's going to take and what's there now. I mean, this picture, again, is a rendering, a very good artist rendering. Because when you gave me this last week, I thought, oh, it's up already? I mean, they did a wonderful job with this.
So I did that, and it's courtesy of AI. AI is a great thing. I work in IT, so I use AI every day for stuff. No, but look at the mottos. All gave some gave all, and that says it right there. That's a group of people that need to be recognized. I have no idea why that just never happened in the Veterans Cemetery in Rhode Island.
I don't know either.
Well,
of course, the Military Order of the Purple Heart does not have a chapter in Rhode Island.
No, we're both members of Chapter 875, which is out of West Springfield.
Yeah, and that's the closest now.
That's the closest. And I find it hard to believe with all our military history that Rhode Island doesn't have a Military Order of Purple Heart chapter here, but they don't.
Yeah, they absolutely should.
So, why should people support this? Well, it's supporting the people that you can have your freedoms today. You can come and go. You have freedom of speech. Whether it was back in the Rev War, guys were fighting for independence, whether it's over today in Iran. These are the people who keep us safe, who keep our freedoms, and who protect us. And who else would you want to thank more than people?
Who were combat wounded in the act of doing so.
Like I said.
Because a lot of them, they may have been grazed by a bullet. A lot of them could be crippled because of it.
My father lost an eye, and he was in a B-17, and they took flak, and he lost his eye in the plane, and he parachuted out, and he had broken ribs and other stuff, but he lost his eye, and that was his life. He had a glass eye his whole life.
And then he was a POW, correct?
He was a POW for 18 months in Germany.
Very
And
long time. You might want to tell people the story that you told me and Dora Vasquez Hellner, who may be joining us, about how he didn't talk about it and
Yeah,
what you found out after.
so my dad was the greatest generation.
Yeah.
And growing up, I knew he had a glass eye, but I never knew why, never knew anything about it. He was a member, back in the day, there were enough POWs. Rhode Island had its own ex-POW chapter back then. And they had ex-POW license plates, because I remember going with my dad to the registry to get his plate. He got the second one, he got POW 101. But I never knew or never was able to put all that together. He never talked about his experience. Around the time that he was shot down, like every year, November 26th, the house got quiet. But we were told, don't ask anything.
And that was always, I would think, some of the times it fell right on Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So after he passed away, I found a picture of his crew from his plane with some writing on it and whatever, and I didn't know what it meant. So I posted it somewhere on an Army Air Corps bulletin board on the internet.
Helps to be an IT guy, doesn't it?
It does. It's investigation. It's detective work. So long story short, I ended up finding out that he was shot down and captured. I ended up finding out, my original goal was just to find out the name of his plane. That's all I ever wanted to know, is what was his plane called. And I ended up finding out he wrote 2 firsthand accounts of his experience that he gave at a POW. He spoke at POW meetings about. I'd never known that. We have all his POW letters home.
He didn't tell the family, but he would speak at POW events.
It's, you know why? I think Band of Brothers. It's
yeah,
the
I was
Band of
going to
Brothers,
say,
right?
like experience.
He wouldn't talk about it. So, long story, a guy witnessed him being shot down and wrote a book and has a firsthand account of him being captured in Germany. A side project that we'll talk about someday is I'm putting a monument where his plane crashed in Germany, and the family has actually agreed to have that happen over in Bremen. So that's a story and a project for another day. But he never talked about it, but we have all his letters he wrote home from POW camp. We have a pouch that when they were liberated, a German soldier gave him a pouch off his belt and gave it to my dad.
Yeah, that you told us.
We have that.
You have the letters. That's really
we have his letters home. We have back in the day in World War II, there was a lot of, I think, shortwave radio broadcasts where they would announce the names of people that were confirmed prisoner of war. And I have postcards from all over the United States of people that wrote and said they heard his name on the shortwave radio broadcast as being captured in a prisoner of war. And the funny thing is, this being Rhode Island, everybody knows each other.
That's
so
right,
Bruce
they
Sunland,
do.
Governor Bruce Sunland, at the time, he was, I think, on the lam through France. And it's his family
He
who
was a pilot, wasn't he?
He was, I think, of a
Sunland?
B-17. And his family is actually the one that notified my family that they had heard my dad's name, that he was captured in a POW. I've got I've got the front page newspapers.
So you've got to wonder then, when your family was notified that he was captured, the range of emotion. Are they beating him? Is he dead? Was he wounded? How long is he going to be there? What are they going to do to him? I mean, that's a whole other kind of hell, I would think.
So he was lucky. The first prisoner of war camp or hospital he ended up, the Germans made him a glass eye. So he ended up in another POW camp where there's an English eye doctor, and they did more and helped him out more there. He said, all his letters, he was in the air side, which it's my understanding the air side guys were treated better than the ground guys. Now it makes sense. We used to watch Hogan's Heroes together, and he laughed. He thought it was the greatest thing and funny, but I never knew why until now. That's why he laughed. It
had to be a release for him too.
Yeah.
Familiarity, but also a release.
But he writes clearly what they were eating. The other thing that was very strong was, "Don't worry about me, I'm fine." Every letter basically started with something to that effect. "Don't worry about me, I'm fine."
Well, I'm sure some of that was to let, so the family wouldn't be that upset, because I'm sure he wasn't fine. a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't be a POW and be fine. So, God bless.
The only one other thing cool I'll mention that this is probably very unique is the Providence Journal ran a picture in the Providence Journal Bulletin of 4 guys that the Germans had released a photo as a propaganda photo and said they called these 4 men terror flyers. And it ran in the Providence Journal, and they didn't know that my dad from Rhode Island was in that picture.
Really?
I think it's rare to get pictures of guys in POW camp.
I think it's unheard of. I never heard of that
We
before.
have his Providence Journal clipping with him in the
Apparently, they took decent care of him.
Oh, he did. He
because
did.
He wouldn't have. I mean, I can't even imagine that.
Nope. He got very well taken care of.
At 18 months. And then how was he liberated?
So he went on, I think it was the 500-mile march to Leipzig. I think that's where they were liberated. The Americans met them. He wrote in some of his stuff, I got liberated. I went to sit down and eat a meal. He took 2 bites. He couldn't eat it because his stomach was shrunk. And he just, he thought he was going to have the biggest meal ever, and he just couldn't.
Yeah. He would have been very ill if he forced it.
But he has a map where he wrote, like, all right, so I ended up at this hospital. Then we took a train to this place. Then we got on a boat and we were in the hold, like the bottom part of a steamboat that we went to here. And then we walked here. He has it all mapped out of the places he went. And luckily I have his POW dog tag from Germany and his medals, his Purple Heart. And that's all what started us. It started with wanting to know the name of his plane. By the way, the name of his plane was Melancholy Baby. And I never found it out from any of my research. My nephew had enlisted in the Army, and he told him.
Now, I don't know. I mean, you'd have to be listening to a real oldies station, but I was going to say, when you hear that song, does it really bring up something, or you don't know the song at all?
Which song?
Melancholy Baby.
I don't know it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know it. I don't know it.
You know it, right?
I've heard it.
Yeah.
But he told my nephew because he was in the military. He had enlisted in the Army. So again, maybe that band of brothers. He wouldn't talk to any of us, but yeah.
Really amazing. So he is the reason that you are in every one of these veterans groups, and you are in so many of them. It's
well,
amazing.
we all belong. We all. It's Rhode Island. A lot of us.
I'm in 30 of them.
Yeah, cross-populate.
You're in 30 of them?
Different ones.
Wow.
I'm not active in a lot of them. I just pay my dues, but there's several that I, particularly pay attention to. But it's funny. My dad was in the Air Corps too, and he was in World War II, and he was in Africa and Corsica, Sardinia, Italy, France. He was a belly gunner, B-17 also. He was
turret. He was in the turret.
Turret guy.
Oof. What's I have a friend here in town, a World War II vet, almost 101 years old, who was a tail gunner. What's a belly gunner? Belly of the plane, or down on your belly?
Absolutely in the bottom of the plane. They had that plane completely surrounded with guns to protect it. They were bombers, but while they were flying there, they would get attacked by German planes. So they needed guns on the side, the front, the back, the bottom to protect that one plane. So there were 10 members of a crew in every single plane. Bomber,
radio man. My dad was a radio man.
Radio man, the pilot, the co-pilot, radio man, bomber, gunner. The
bottom was the ball turret. It was actually it looked like a plexiglass or a glass ball that literally came out from the bottom of the plane, and the guy sat very scrunched with a gun in there, and that's.
A lot of those guys got killed just coming home. They were okay, but the plane medic is shot up, and the mechanism to make that.
That's what Joe told me, the tail gunner. He's told me that same
all
exact
of those
thing.
had mechanisms that to make them move and everything. And the bottom one, if it got stuck, there was no way out for that person.
Oh.
And they'd come in for a landing and like crash land and kill the guy and maybe survive if the plane made it in. But there's so many guys who got killed in those planes. It's unbelievable.
Oh, you think of their family. They know they're
Thousands.
coming home, and then that happens.
Yeah.
That's horrible. We have a couple of minutes before we go to break. So let's start talking about the monument. When the idea, when you got the idea, who's doing well, you did the design here, but who's actually building it, and the support that you're looking for.
You're the idea man first.
Well, I've been thinking about this for a few years. First of all, I didn't get my Purple Heart for 30 years. It was lost in paperwork.
Neither did
So
he.
after that, I got a little bit more inclined to think about the Purple Heart and all that. But belonging to the Military Order of Foreign Wars, we've been around for over 100 years. And a few years back when I was the commander, I said, who knows that we exist? A lot of our guys died and everything. Why don't we put up a monument in the Veterans Cemetery? So as you enter the cemetery, on the right, about the third or fourth one in, we have a nice big monument that honors the Military Order of Foreign Wars. Then, of course, I was a combat infantryman. And many years ago, when I first signed up, I belonged to a unit in Massachusetts. And they said, why don't you start something in Rhode Island? So I became the commander and I started the military, the Combat Infantrymen's Association of Rhode Island. And most of the guys who signed up were two guys, believe it or not. This is 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And I had almost 150 members.
Ooh.
Almost 100 of them were. Well, we've lost a lot of those guys now. Every year,
sure,
on Memorial Day, we go down there and read the list of our men that we lost.
And it gets longer every year.
We put up a Combat Infantrymen's Association monument. So I said, well, I already did this twice. All I need is somebody to help me out. And we talked about it. I found out about his dad having been in P-17s and the fact that he was wounded. I said, I was wounded too. And I've been all through that cemetery and there's no monument to Purple Heart guys. Why don't we try and do something? So this literally started last year at the, I don't know, October, November. But we kept talking and talking. I said, well, we got to get this thing going. And 250th anniversary of our country's coming up. Purple Heart Day is in August.
Yep.
You think we could get this done by August? And so at the end of February, we kicked it off officially, him and I, and started writing letters and doing what we had to do and asking people for money. And it's progressed already in a little over about 6 weeks or so.
That's all it's been, is 6 weeks since you got this
Officially,
idea?
well, not the idea, but we actually said,
Since you
let's do
started.
it. We're going to start asking people and finding a place, because you got to go back to the cemetery and ask them permission.
Oh, yeah, of
And
course
there's
you
rules
do.
too. There's rules too.
Oh,
Yeah.
they got rules all over that place.
Yeah.
We're going to have to take a break, but we are going to
Great.
come back and we're going to tell you how you can get involved. We are honoring the men and women who have been awarded the Purple Heart. This is Man About Town, brought to you by Valenti Subaru at Dunn's Corners, our good friend Bruce Morrow and his staff. They're just waiting to sell you a Subaru. They still have some 2025s, new and pre-owned, as well as a whole host of the 2026s. We will be back with two of the finest gentlemen I know, and I've known them for a few minutes. One a week and one a few minutes, but they are part of a very special bond. So we'll be back shortly. This is Man About Town.
I'm Ryan Collins. I'm the clinic director, specialized orthopedic physical therapy. Every time you come in, you work one-on-one with the physical therapist, personalized one-on-one care with that person. Working with Wood River is very beneficial because we have great relationships with all the doctors. Do not hesitate to give us a call, come in for an evaluation, or talk to your doctor and they can refer you to physical therapy.
I feel very blessed to raise my kids in a great community. Drive by the ocean every day to go to school. I do anything for this community. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate in Southern Rhode Island or Connecticut, give me a call, 401-580-0750.
When somebody comes in to have something framed, we like to find out what their vision is, what that piece means to them. We want to know what their style is, if they know where it's going to hang, and then we take it from there. My name is Jan. I'm from Finishing Touches Picture Framing, located right here in Wakefield on Main Street, and we'd love to have you come and visit us.
Hi, I'm Sean with Easy Does It Moving and More. Whether it's local or long distance, we've got you covered. We even help with unpacking and secure storage when you need it.
From start to finish, Easy Does It Moving and More makes sure that all of your belongings get there safely. Make your move easy and call 401-545-6078 today.
Easy Does It Moving and More, because moving shouldn't be stressful, it should be easy.
At the Ocean Community YMCA, community means showing up across 4 branches and 2 summer camps, all rooted in one shared mission. Every day we bring people together to grow stronger in spirit, mind, and body. From fitness floors to youth programs, from lifelong friendships to unforgettable summer memories. No matter your age or stage of life, there's a place for you here to belong, to thrive, and to be supported. This is the place where everyone belongs. This is the Ocean Community YMCA.
She's everywhere. She's everywhere. She's a man about town and she knows what's going down.
We are back, and I always learn a lot more when we're in commercial than I do sometimes during the program. And Bert has been telling me about what I and you can see on YouTube. There's a lot of garbage on YouTube. There's a lot of good stuff on YouTube, like Man About Town, like all our productions of 321 Media and News Shore Radio. But tell them, Bert, what you were telling me during the break.
All right, about 12 years ago, I was watching TV late at night, and I'm flipping around, and I come on to Peg TV, and it says, would you like to do a TV program or call us or do that, something like that. At the time, I was the commander of the Military on Foreign Wars, as Ron is now. So I asked a few of the members, let's go down and see what this is all about. So we went down, and they told us what it was, you could put on a show for 30 minutes and come in once a month and do whatever you want. And they laid out the list of things you could or couldn't do. So that was 12 years ago. So I said, do you have anything with military involved? They said, not a thing. I said, what do you want to do? I said, well, I want to talk to veterans, about veterans, for veterans, anything that has to do with veterans or something a veteran might do, because we went to the International Car Show in New York, and they said, why do you want to go to the International Car Show? I said, because veterans buy cars.
Right.
What do you think? That's why. So what
a dumb question they asked.
I said,
that really is.
So we've been doing this, and in the beginning, we used to go to the studio, and I had a lot of people. So we would do 2 or 3 shows, half an hour, then they'd go home, and the next guy would come in, do a show, and then we would play them simultaneously. But now we do 1 show a month or 2, and I'll stack them up if I have to. But the person comes in and we do the show and we show it. We're on every day of the week, but on different channels and different times on PEG TV. So every day of the week we're on for a month, and the next month I'll do another show with somebody else.
My God, you're doing more than we are. So tell people what they look for when they go to YouTube.
Well, when you go on YouTube, you just look for RIVIN, which stands for the Rhode Island Veterans Information Network. And you will see a host of different shows that are on there. They're mostly 30 minutes. Some are longer because they were taken outside of the studio, so they might be free.
Do they give you free time, I hope? Or do you have to pay for these? When
I don't pay anything, no.
Good.
They're free.
That it should be.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's why I liked it.
Yeah,
If it's free, it's for
for
me.
me.
Did my
Yeah.
episode make YouTube?
Yeah,
No, I'm just kidding.
it did.
Okay, so now I'm going to go back to Ron and let's talk again how people can get involved. They might say, hey, I don't have a lot of money, but I'd just like to do something towards this monument.
So, you know, my parents brought me up to write a thank you note for everything. And in the groups I've been in, whether it's the Military Order of Foreign Wars or the militia group, the Patuxent Rangers, if someone gives $5, $5,000, $50,000, you get a thank you note, and you deserve a thank you note. So, you know, ways people could give, they can go to rimofw.org. That's our website.
All right, you said that way too fast. Say it.
RIMOFW, Rhode Island Military Order of Foreign Wars, .org. And click on, I think it's donations, and there's a specific thing just for the Purple Heart donations there. There's also a mailing address. If you put that up on the screen, they can send a check in. We still take, you know, paper checks. The response.
And that's 26 Mohawk Street, Coventry, 02816. I know Ben made a copy of this earlier, and he may be putting this up on the screen.
Yep. So that's ways they can get involved. It doesn't, your donation doesn't have to be $500, $100. Every little bit helps and goes towards it.
Sure.
So we've had some very generous organizations step up already. So the Sons of the Revolution, which is a hereditary society, this one is they're based in Newport. They donated $5,000. The Society of the Cincinnati, which is a hereditary organization of officers from the Rev War, they donated $5,000.
Has Dora told you about her little speech Monday night at the Westerly Rotary
No,
Club?
how'd it go?
Well, Dora is impressive.
Great.
And I was not at the board meeting because I'm not on the board, and she is going to be president in 2 years. So she hangs in on the board meetings. And she got up and said, I hope I got this number right. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I do believe she said the board approved $500.
Great.
And you will be getting that.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
So, and if I'm wrong, I'm sure she'll come flying in here. But I was very impressed. But when Dora speaks, things happen. And she had everybody's attention.
That's great.
Because a good many of the people in that organization know what a Purple Heart is and what it's for.
Yep.
But she made sure everybody knew.
That's
because
great.
there's some younger members there as well.
I met her several years ago when she got out of the service, and she became the commander, the state commander for
The VFW.
Yeah, so she's been on my show.
She's been on everybody's show.
I know, but she came on the show, and
She's
then
an
I started
amazing
seeing her
person.
more and more at all these different events. And when we went to the airport several times to see the guys and gals coming in from the honor flights, she's there.
She was on the first all-female honor
Yes,
flight
yeah, and I know several others
and
who
loved
were
it.
too with her.
Yeah. Dora lives in Ashaway, for those of you who are local, and former state commander of the VFW.
Right.
Very, very active, and 23 years in the Army, and she jumped out of planes.
Yep.
That's not what planes were built for. They're built for flying, not
I
jumping.
know guys who've been up in planes, they have never landed in the plane. They only went up and jumped out.
Yep.
Imagine.
But she is, as recent as yesterday, I was having lunch with a member of the Westerly Rotary Club, a retired doctor who is just shy of 91 years old. And he said, you know, she'd been in the Rotary Club a couple of years, but until she got up and spoke, and she spoke a few months ago about her experiences, he said that opened up a whole new thing. I had no idea. And everybody was just listening and amazed
Thrilled. Yep.
at what she had to say.
Well, I'll throw you a plug, because the reason we're all sitting here today is because Frank Lennon, who you may know, he writes the veterans column for the Providence Journal Bulletin.
That's why you're here, because
And
I
that's what I was
read
gonna
his
say.
column.
Yeah, too.
Rona, took the initiative, reading the article and actually reaching out and offering assistance, which you don't get a lot of volunteerism all the time. And maybe even for something like this. So
As a
Rona
matter
reached
of
out.
fact, I was looking up his information today because I want to mail him. His column on Monday was "What I Fought For," and that happens to be the title of my husband's book.
Oh, wow.
And I want to mail him one.
That's
so
great.
I was looking up his address, and he also goes to West Palm Beach, I see.
Frank?
Yeah.
He goes a lot of places.
He just came back from what, Antarctica or Arctica somewhere?
With the penguins he was visiting.
He was visiting the penguins?
Yeah.
He could have stayed here during our blizzard and he could have seen penguins. My God. But yeah, that man writes a wonderful column.
He
I know
does.
there was one years ago. I don't remember the gentleman's name. He had done it for years and years and years. And then I think he died or retired. And then there wasn't one for a while. And I'm glad he picked up the gauntlet because it's, and they put it on the front page now, which is great. Front page of Monday's paper.
But my point is, along the way, like you said, you don't have to be a person that necessarily donates money.
Yeah.
You could be someone that can get the word out for us. If you have a big following on email, if you have a social media following, if you're a member of veterans,
Right.
any type of organization, you can get the word out. That helps.
Well, I think we may have a bunch of veterans listening and watching because Dora emailed me early this morning and said, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. I don't think so, but I will put it on social media. Now, I myself don't do social media, but I'm rare. Most people do one way or the other.
Right.
So I sent her a whole bunch of information about what we're doing here and how people could watch a podcast later. So hopefully you're watching and maybe we can get $1 or $2 out of you, because if there's just a few people, like you were saying last week, if a few people give 10, 5, 25, it all adds
It all
up.
adds up. Is that code, if that code was in the camera, would people be able to?
Oh, the
snap
QR
it?
code? Yeah, they could.
Yeah, we had a question on Monday night at Rotary when Dora got up and spoke and said the board has just approved this. One of the Rotarians, not to be nasty, it was a normal question. He said, what are we getting out of this? Or what does anybody who contribute? So you might want to talk about what's going to be in the cemetery with the QR code
Sure,
and also
so-
with the plaque for a larger donation.
Right. So, well, the plan is, because this is going to cover so many people, this isn't going to be a 10 people donating or 10 organizations. This is going to be probably a large number of people.
I would hope so.
And so it would be cost prohibitive to try to put all that on a monument. It would just be not practical. So modern technology now, and actually QR codes came out years ago, and now they're making a comeback, and now everything's QR code, as you can see on our form.
Yes.
So the whole story behind this project, the dedication ceremony, the link to all the donors, that will all be a QR code stationed within that monument area. I don't know exactly. I can't say it's exactly here or here, but the QR code will get everyone to see the story behind all this.
You are an IT person.
I am.
And I'm a dummy when it comes to this stuff. I mean, I could just about figure out now how to point the camera and get it.
Yeah.
How many
Me too.
individual names can you get within a QR code?
So it's not, so how it works, I'll give you a little IT 101 about QR
Okay.
codes.
Just talk to me like I'm 6. That's
Oh.
what I always say.
Nope, I've been in IT 40 years. So all you do to access a QR code is you take your camera, and it works either Android or iPhone.
Oh, I know how to access
You open
it
up the
now.
camera, and it puts a little square, a little marker, and
with
then it'll come
yellow
up with a
around it.
website, and you hit the website. So that's where someone can donate. When we build the program and then the official thing that show it can be as many people's names, it can be anything.
So you
It
could
will
have-
link to a web
You
page.
could have thousands of names.
Yeah. we're
because it
gonna
will
do
link
that.
to a web page.
We
So
wanna
it'll go
do
to
that.
our Rhode Island Military or
Okay, so
Foreign
then,
Wars
like any
webpage.
web page, it would have a link and with all these names.
Yep, it'll have the program from the day. It'll have pictures from the day, because remember, this is that day we can have something, but we can have the whole pictures, the ceremony, everything could be linked. We could have a video of it on our website that links to the ceremony that day.
Now, the ceremony will be August 7th, which is National Purple Heart Day.
Exactly.
In conjunction
with
Tiger Patrick, who is VFW. He's having the 5th year anniversary of the Purple Heart Trail in North Kingstown or South Kingstown. So
he seems to work out of South Kingstown because that's where I first met him. But I think he lives in North. I think the first sign was put up there. And we were talking about that the other day. As you drive around the state and you see those signs that say this is a Purple Heart town, the gentleman we're talking about now is the guy that started doing that, and I guess went all over the state doing it, putting up those signs.
So I talked to him on the phone. We made introductions to each other, and he seems like he's a great guy to work with, and him and I would get along awesome.
They've all been on your show.
Yeah,
but he wants to make it like a Purple Heart weekend, or that both events are done over that weekend, whether they're both Fridays, whatever. But it's going to be both of those things acknowledged.
Well, I certainly can help you get media people out, not just from here, but from the major TV stations. I can do releases, and I know people there. So you just get me things like the time, and I mean, obviously it's going to be at the cemetery, but they will want to cover that, I'm sure, because that's pretty important. Actually, I did not know until, I'm trying to remember when we went. It was probably only about 9 years ago that there was a Purple Heart Hall, National Purple Heart Hall, and I believe it's New Windsor, New York. It's the middle of nowhere. It's not that far from Albany. It's kind of like between Albany and New York, but it's the middle of nowhere. And it's a beautiful facility.
I submitted my dad's name to it. You can go online, find
it.
Google it online, find it. You can, if you know.
And if you go there and you are a Purple Heart awardee, they will ask you if you want to make a video, and they make a video and they keep it.
That's awesome.
And you can actually go online or go there, click on the veteran's name, and see what they said. And that really is very meaningful.
Speaking of that, we have the Rhode Island Purple Heart Recipient of the Year. Is that the title, Bert?
I believe it is.
Bert's being recognized.
I'll be going up there. I think I'm going to go into that place at the end of this month because they've invited me up there for a three
to the Purple Heart Hall of Honor, I think it's called. Purple Heart Hall of Honor.
I think I'm going to be going in there.
Good.
In fact, my wife asked me today, where will we going? And I said,
just tell her the middle of nowhere.
I'm going to. And I wrote to them and said, well, can you send me the address again? Because I'll be driving up. And they answered me today, and I haven't even had a chance to look at it.
I think it's
But we're going to go to West Point too.
Yep,
we're going to
it's
do
not
a
that
few
far.
things. And if they all come, there'll be 50 participants, men and women.
Oh.
World War II, Korea, Vietnam, anything. One from every state. So I'm Rhode Island this year.
That's wonderful.
He's Miss Rhode Island.
Miss Rhode Island. You're gonna have to wear a swimsuit and have the satin thing. Okay, before I let you go, will you tell people again how they can become part of this effort?
Yes, so
again,
a few ways.
I will hold this up.
For those of you that don't like paper checks, there's a QR code there. You can simply click that. That will take you right to the donation. It's through PayPal. You do not have to have a PayPal account, but you can make your donation. That on our end, it's PayPal. There's a mailing address on there. You can make a check out to RIMOFW and mail it to 26 Mohawk Trail in Coventry. I'll give you my email address because it's a cool one and everybody likes it because I've had it. It's Rev War Man, like Revolutionary War Man. REV is in Victor, WARMAN at AOL.com. And that's how you reached out to me.
Have you hooked up with the 250th? I mean, the people that are in each town that are part of the coalition isn't the right word.
No, so the Rhode Island 250 Commission did a number of grants for cities and towns. Most all of that money is going towards those individual cities and towns celebrations. Because I know our militia company is going to be out every other weekend.
Because we had the ones from Westerly here about 3 weeks ago.
Did they do a Liberty tree planting?
Oh,
Or
I'm
red
trying to
red
remember.
maple or whatever
Well,
it
they
is?
had a big gala at the Armory, at the Westerly
Roberta Hummel.
Armory.
Roberta, who's a
Yes.
past commander of our commandery.
Yep, they did that, but they're having a lot of events in town. The biggest thing they're doing is they are planting a time capsule for 100 years, and they're asking people. They've been going around from the senior center to the schools, making it a school project, to just write a letter, seal it in an envelope, and that's going to go in the capsule. And it can be, they're doing the middle schools, the high schools, the senior center they went to. They've been to some of the churches, and people can write anything they want.
Awesome.
What they're wearing, what they're cooking, you know, anything. But if you'd like, I can get you the people's names from here.
Sure.
If you want to connect with them.
The other thing I'd love an in with is, can we get on like the Channel 10 lunchtime show or somewhere where you can talk? This is, look, we've probably, how many people have we talked to this about? 500, 1,000 over the last, everyone thinks it's an awesome project.
It is. Yeah, I'll give you the information. for
Like if we
that.
get on
That's the 12:30
Studio
show.
10 or the 12 one in the morning.
Yep. Yeah,
You know,
that's
we'd
with
love to get the
Mario
word.
and Allison. Yep.
With Laughlin.
Is he still doing John Laughlin?
Yeah, I just saw something
John
where
Laughlin cannot, because he cannot be on
Oh, he's
the air
campaigning, right?
because he's running for
Right,
office.
but I thought I just saw something where he was doing a show separately somehow.
Oh, he was being interviewed by Gene Valicini
I
last
saw that,
weekend.
Yeah.
But he cannot. He had to give up his show on
So he's off the air,
WPRO.
okay.
I think
I've
he
called him a few times and said.
Yeah, because he's always been good to the veterans. Always. I mean, he always had
served together.
Kasim on, and he always had John Cianci on, and he had my
Cousin.
husband on, and Dora on, and the whole world's been on with him. But yeah, I will send you that information, and but we got to get the word out. And anybody out there, if you know someone, let them know about this. We want to get the word out. We want to get it to newspapers too. Social media is a good idea, because then we can get a younger audience as well. Because unfortunately, the younger people aren't reading the Westerly Sun and the Providence Journal and, you know, the Woonsocket Call and all of those. They're just not. So
The other group we'd like to hear from is corporations. If anybody's a board member on a corporation and they have a community giving program, anything like that. I know some of the banks do. I know some of the defense contractor type. Anybody that has a tie into those that thinks this is a worthy project, which it is, reach out to us and let us know. We'd love to hear from you and work with you.
thank you so much. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Bert, especially for telling your story, and welcome home, as they say to all Vietnam vets.
Thank you very much.
Huzzah.
It's an honor for me to have you here. It really is. So next week, gang, being the third Wednesday of the month, we will have our usual guy at 3 o'clock. We'll have the movie guy, Bill Doherty from the Mystic Luxury Cinemas, South County Cinemas, Madison Cinema, and Westbrook, Connecticut Cinemas. He'll be here to let us know all the movies that are coming in, all the stuff that's going on. And I know he and his partner, and I can't let too much out, but they are negotiating about another theater. They love to buy theaters. And this is one that you all have heard of. And especially if you are over the age of 50, you may have been going to it for a long time, especially in the summer. You can think about that one. So he'll be with us next week. Again, we thank Valenti Subaru. And as I always say, be good to each other, take care of each other, but take a risk. Because if you don't take a risk, you'll never know how good it could be. Just don't do it on the highway. And in the words of Commissioner Reagan, risk is the price you pay for opportunity. Be well. See you next week. And a salute to all veterans.